Tjridoo, the Didgeridoo podcast. In this time, from the United States, Zachary Bainter.
Huh?
Honk, honk.
Huh? What's up, homie? How you doing? How are you? How's your day?
Oh, it's going pretty great. I mean, this is honestly the first video chat I've had for a long time that's in the same time zone. Um, so I was about to be like, oh well, it must be nice whatever time of day it is for you, and then I realized you're in Tijuana, which is same time zone. So same morning, same time. Yeah, it's been going well. I was like we were talking before the call. I do a lot of cooking when I'm not out playing, performing, and making music. So that's been my main thing right now because it's the winter time. There's not so many festivals, things like that. Just getting ready for the spring.
It is coming soon. It's coming soon. What kind of food do you make? What you make tacos, burritos,
I do love
chimichangas?
making those. We're actually we're about to have a carnitas taco on the next seasonal menu. So we change the menu every season. Kind of fit the time of year, kind of fit the vibes of the shows that are going on with this opera and ballet that happens there.
Sim-
So it's all pretty seasonal. We kind of have like sort of some wintry, sort of Japanese influenced dishes right now, and then springtime we're moving in kind of like a Latin and Italian direction.
Okay, so awesome. So you make a lot of kind of food, not just like it's like a stupid way of thinking, but I was imagining burgers, hot dogs, all the gringo stuff. But no, you make international food. You can make this, right?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, every now and then we'll do a like a sort of an elevated, I guess you could say, version of some like kind of typical
Okay.
American stuff. But most of the things we do are kind of either like totally original or they kind of come from like European or Asian or Latin American kind of influences a little bit, just to kind of change things up.
With carnitas tacos, I will recommend you costilla, buche, y cuerito.
Okay.
If you ask for a taco, buche y cuerito, they are very juicy, very juicy, very juicy, very juicy.
Is
And I will give you a tip if there is a Mexican over there asking you if you like the maciza. Don't say a word. He's gonna ask you, "Hey, ¿te gusta la maciza?" You say, "I make tacos," because it's gonna laugh. It's gonna laugh. If you like the maciza, if you like it very hard, so be careful with the Mexicans over there. They are like,
I mean,
yeah, yeah.
it is mestiza.
La maciza is like if you like it very hard, like in double meaning, Mexican double meaning.
Yeah, wordplay. I like those.
In Spanish is albur. It's gonna be albur. Also, don't react to los de cabeza and things like that because the Mexicans they are like we are like you know the question that I make to everyone is the same question that I do, and it is very interesting because you are very young, you are not so old like me or like a lot of players over there. So how do you have in the first encounter with the didgeridoo, and how do you start to play the didgeridoo?
Oh, the first encounter I had with Didgeridoo was at a Scottish Highland Games. Actually, there's a band that you may be aware of called the Wicked Tinkers. That
Ah,
they're
yeah.
from Los Angeles and kind of that area. But they do like bagpipes and drums, and it's all very like sort of tribal Scottish kind of vibes. But then they've also, I think, always had a didgeridoo player. So they have like the Highland bagpipes play in the key of A or B flat for us didgeridoo players, and so they usually always had somebody playing a B flat didgeridoo. and then some other instruments in the same key, in similar keys. But so that was the first time I ever saw and heard one. Was just like right on stage at this this little Scottish festival. These guys in kilts running around with a didgeridoo that was found out later was actually made by Lewis Burns. I think was the first one I saw. So I saw that, was immediately just like, whoa, this is sick. Never heard of it before that. Obviously, I've born here in Washington, USA. Lived here my whole life, traveled around. So haven't really seen one of those before. I mean, maybe I've heard one on a commercial or television. So that was my first time really seeing it. And it was a couple, that festival happens every summer. So I would see that band most of those years. And it took a couple of years for me to, it was 2010 when I decided, I want to get a hold of one of these and play it. So I asked the didgeridoo player of that band, a guy by the name of CJ Henderson, who's
CJ.
And he recommended me to look into like Chad Butler and the Indigenous Festival, and also also recommended me the didgeridoostore.com website for places to get a hold of one. And so I went ahead and kind of looked into those, researched those guys, sent an email to Chad, got to know that guy, and I got my first didgeridoo actually from Drew Reed, from a band, another Scottish band from Australia that made didgeridoos. I actually have that didge right here.
De los primeritos, the first one.
Yeah, PVC slide didgeridoo, 2 sections.
Whoa!
This is what I learned on. And eventually I modified it with sort of a very primitive drop octave mouthpiece. As soon as I started to see videos of William Thorin on the internet. And so, yeah, about 2010, it just kind of started. It all started for me. It was about that year. And yeah, got a hold of that PVC didge. And then I got a hold of another one that was longer, that had more range, a slide didge as well, from the internet. And that was what I rocked for a while. That's what got me started.
2010. You started 2010.
Mm-hmm.
And how did you like you are so awesome multi-drone didgeridoo player. You play so fucking cool. You even have a track that you play just in drop octave. You don't play the drone. You play under. You're always playing all over there in the abyss, in el abismo. How do you start playing? You start playing like normal, like for example, I started to play just with my cheek like to the side and with a PVC pipe. And then I saw Willie. What the fuck? How do you make that transition from playing like normal to multi-drone?
Well, yeah, I started. You brought that up. I started playing off the side as well. I think I'm pretty certain that most didge players start playing from the side. I don't know if I met anybody that started playing just like straight out of the front. Most people kind of find that. So I definitely was one of those. I started from the side. You have like a more of a initially strong embouchure there. It's like, because you only have one side you have to strengthen, and the other side is just the end of your lip, so you're good. But so that's how I played up until I started seeing the we're doing a lot of shout outs to the guy, but like I started seeing the wet didgeridoo videos coming up on YouTube, and like this way of playing that like was really just whoa. Like I thought it was pretty metal, honestly. Just this like really growly, like low drone that you could just easily switch to. Like I came from playing bass clarinet originally before I played didgeridoo. So I had an appreciation for like these low, we call stuff like that pedal tones in the orchestral woodwind brass world. And so I really was into that. And that kind of made me realize that like, oh, you got to play out the front. You can't really, you can't really be doing that sort of playing out of the side because you don't have the full like range of motion of your lips, So I was sort of training myself to do that. And that was around 2013. 2012, 2013, I discovered the whole drop octave multi-drone thing. And yeah, that wasn't one that I like found by myself while I was playing around and had some revelation. I watched Will Thorin videos and thought that was pretty pretty sick. So I really owe a lot of my didgeridoo uh, life to YouTube and seeing things like this online. Because where I live, there's no one playing didgeridoo. There's a couple of people now, but not. But back then, there wasn't really anybody in this whole area that played didgeridoo. I think there was like one guy that was a trombone teacher. He played trombone in a couple of local orchestras, and I think he like played didgeridoo for like some albums, like some CD recordings, where he was just like, whoa, just like something, something ambient for like some soundtrack or something like that, and that was really it, and no one had really heard of it around here.
So it's very, very crazy, and I feel you, bro, and I feel you, because right now, since 2012, I think I started in 2012 to 2021, I think I was the only didgeridoo player. Now there is 2 or 3 players, but if there is a player over here in Tijuana, they have to buy didgeridoos from me, or I have to teach them, because I'm the only one. I was the only one, and now it's like 1 or 2 or 3, or maybe some dude from the south of Mexico that it's traveling to all busking around the Mexico, and some people arrive here with didgeridoos of other crafters and shit. Tell us about your how many projects do you have when you go to festivals in your music, your project musics?
I'm involved with three projects that I've performed with. Right now, I'm really more busy setting up for 2 of them. Right now I'm mainly playing with my first gig will be coming up with Brother here. They're actually the band that sold me that first slide didgeridoo that I showed you.
Simon.
And so I play with them, doing kind of it's like Scottish Australian influenced folk rock.
Okay.
So that's where I'll start doing that, and I'm usually going to Celtic festivals and Scottish Highland games and things like that, and kind of bringing sort of like an Aussie didgeridoo original sort of folk vibe to all the traditional stuff, which is pretty cool. And then there's also Thunder Crow. I'm really excited about where we're going. I'm playing a festival for sure, and we have some other shows that are in the works over in the Netherlands and Germany in that area for later on this fall. We're going to be playing at a Festival Medieval, which is this giant. It's like if you mix kind of a Renaissance fair and a metal festival all at once. Like there'll be like a band over here, someone's playing a harp and a hurdy-gurdy and a flute. And over on the main stage, there's like a death metal band. And then you can go buy mead and drink with Vikings, and it's this whole thing. So we're gonna go and play our very medieval didgeridoo dance music. But no, it's influenced a lot actually by that stuff. And there's a lot of interplay with the folk world and the kind of stuff that we've been doing with the kind of electronic didgeridoo acoustic dance side of things. And then Sun Saga, we don't really tour, or we don't have an album out or anything like that. Like Sun Saga is kind of more of like sort of kind of expression project between totally between myself and a singer that I've been friends with for some years here in Washington. She's an opera singer, trained as an opera singer, but does all sorts of stuff. She's been in metal bands and folk bands and things like that nature. So we do kind of really weird, I heard people say it's kind of like a weird, like heavy didgeridoo dead can dance, and I suppose that's kind of correct. But that's one where it's kind of have to be where that one's at to hear it. I think there's some videos of us up on YouTube, but we haven't recorded anything, and we don't really do many big shows or anything like that. But we come up every now and then.
You don't have plans to record something with the bands?
With Sun Saga, we had to have loose sort of plans too. Eventually one day, if we decide to, we'll lay down some of the stuff that we do live on an album. It's mostly like it is really a live project. So it's like we don't have a discography or songs or really anything like that. We kind of if we go someplace and we play like at Indigenous or someplace like that that knows us, like we go there and really just kind of weave a set out of just kind of nowhere. We kind of improv, and it's reading the vibes and the energy of the area and getting kind of holistic about it, but still having it be intense and lots of different rhythms and things like that. So one day we might record that. And yeah, brother, we have plans next
Please.
year to record a new. There's many albums out with that band. They've been around for
Uh,
longer than I've been alive. But we're gonna do another album here with the new lineup. There's myself and another guy who've been added in the last couple of years, and so we have plans to record after this festival season because we did last year's festival season. We're gonna do this year's, and then we have plans for recording some of that stuff. And Thundercrow, we just put out an album last year. Yeah, just
okay.
about it'll be exactly a year ago. Yeah, we put out the Ellipsis album, which is available on Spotify to listen to. You can download it off of Bandcamp. You can buy a physical album from the website. Um,
Awesome.
and
And,
that's busy.
and you and by yourself, Didgeridoo solo. You never thought about Didgeridoo solo album, something like that.
Man, there's been a lot of people have asked me for one over the years.
Ah, a
I
huevo.
I just I keep changing, and I'm to be honest, it's a bit of a perfectionist thing where I keep like
Mm,
maybe it's not for the best that I do this because like my reasoning that I always tell people and like myself is that I want to like kind of apex my playing if that makes sense. I get to a point where I'm just like, all right, I feel like really fire about this, and I'm gonna kind of stick with this for a while and make this kind of my signature thing. But because over the last couple of years, I've been kind of just like meeting and hearing and seeing all these different types of musicians using the didgeridoo. It's like my style has evolved a lot. Like this, like the stuff I was recording, like even in like 2018 is
mhm.
really different than the stuff that I lay down now. And so I guess like on the one hand you could say, well, if you were just recording and releasing all that, then people could track that. And I'm like, yeah, but thing is I haven't. So I'm just gonna get to a point where I'm like really stoked about some stuff, and I'm not to be a tease, but I have been building up some really cool uh just kind of demo material. Um, Nothing really cohesive, like kind of non-structured jams and things. But I'm like getting pretty excited about some stuff and some directions and some gear that I just got for the purposes of solo playing. Um, so I've got a couple of places where I want to do some solo shows to kind of live demo some of this stuff. Um, and then who knows? Maybe that'll get out there after that.
Please, because I have lots of videos that what was his last name? I don't know how to pronounce. Jason
It's pronounced
Stutter.
it's pronounced stair, like the English going upstairs.
Jason Stair. I always say
Yep.
Jason Stutter. Okay, Jason has uploaded some videos of you playing. So I download those videos and convert to MP3s, and that's the music I have from you. So it will be so fucking awesome. And I can say that I speak from lots of people to have professional or yes, professional didgeridoo solo from you. It will be like, whoa, mind blown. All the ay, ¿cómo se dice? I'm so sorry. Right now, my English is not so good because I have been 3 weeks without English. So it's again to speak this. ¿Cómo se dice? Habilidad. I don't remember habilidad in English. Ah, fuck. Uh, well, okay. You are so good playing, and your habilidades for playing they are so high that I remember that in one online phase, I don't remember the name. You played always in drop octave, and you never played the drone of the didgeridoo, the natural drone. You played always down, and it was mind blown, so mind blown. And that was that was live. Now I cannot imagine what you can do on a studio doing it. You never record. in the studio just by yourself?
Only
Just for
one time. Only one.
only
Oh,
just for fun.
it was. Well, I mean, it was by myself. It was for a
Yeah.
project that I was involved
Mm,
with at the time called. Well, we still kind of do stuff occasionally. But it was a kind of group of us. We did just some sort of busking and stuff like that around Seattle. And then at one point we had gone up to the community college in Seattle. One of them called Shoreline Community College, which is right next to a very professional studio, which is called London Bridge Studio, which is kind of famous in like rock and roll music. So
okay.
they loan a lot of equipment and people over to this community college. So we went over there and recorded um, like just like five songs. So the only experience that I ever had being in an actual studio recording in a booth by myself was that one time. Um, every other like Ellipsis, when we recorded that for Thundercrow, I recorded that right here, like in this right in this corner.
Yeah,
And then
yeah,
the feed recorded his side of the album, like basically in his version of this spot, like in a corner of his attic where he had his studio set up, or his home studio. And so I haven't really gotten to have that experience yet. We were gonna originally do that physically, but then of course like Corona happened and the world was in a weird place, for 3 years or so. So traveling back and forth for multiple trips to the studio was, also going to be very expensive and then very hard to do
see.
with the restrictions. So we did it all remotely, and then I flew over there in September of 21. Um, and we listened to the final mixes of the tracks before we sent them up to get mastered, and then that was that. But yeah, I haven't really had the studio experience that much at all, despite just putting out an album. It's kind of weird.
Mm.
So
It's
I really
it
intend to
was
do that again now that the world seems to be kind of reopening, and you can
yes, yes,
like it's
yes,
legal to
yes.
go. It's allowed to go into a studio and like pull out a didgeridoo and start like blasting air everywhere now. So
And
I
then
really want to do that.
this is a tip. This is a tip. A lot of people come from lots of places of the world to record over here in Tijuana in a specific studio, but because it's a big studio, and for me it's expensive. Like $45 an hour for me is like what the, that's a lot of money. But there is a lot of dudes from Japan, Germany, a dude from Israel, different kind of musics. They come to make the recordings over here in the studio. Maybe that's a good option for you in the States to travel south, record. It will be less paying, a big studio and good quality studio, and then you can grab your material and do the post production in your place. That's I can say not what is going it's not gonna be so expensive if if you record over there in the States, because I know that the prices they go like triple or four times that money, I guess. I don't know, but that's a tip. How do you changing the question, another question, how do you manage the busking over there in Seattle? How is the busking things over there in Washington?
Now it's pretty hard. We used to do it a lot. That was a lot of the stuff that Jason Powell would put up, and a lot of stuff I've seen is like when we used to just kind of go around and busk, in nearby like farmers markets, and like there was a lot of open
Mm.
mics. That was most of where I started getting kind of my live playing chops, was by doing open mics. Honestly, because it's just, even back then it was like they were starting to kind of tighten down on like where you could busk and like how and things like that, but nowadays it's very hard. You really have to have a permit for a lot of places, and in a lot of places it's just not allowed anymore. um, or it's or like like there's a spot, like there's a place in Seattle that's very popular, like, or when I say it's not allowed, like in the places where it would be uh like kind of
How do you
fruitful, where you get people that, like, even if it's not like you're making a lot of money, but like you're getting at least people to like come around. Like there's not very many places like that anymore that they don't have some kind of like permit system that you have to pay for, and you have like a limited time and things like that. And it's and they're very popular for musicians that are just around there, close to Seattle. I'm a little ways outside the city, um, and so it's kind of yeah. Nowadays it's hard, but like 5, 7, 8 years ago, it was pretty easy to just pull up next to a farmer's market. And if there wasn't a band that was there, like a paid act on the stage, that you were gonna like be a troll and start playing over. As long as there was no band, then you could just pretty much set up and then like plug in, and we would bring a Yamaha 15 around, just a single one.
Mhm.
I had this big old guitar tube amp that I would carry around on a wagon. And we would just do solo, like just switch off, just doing like solo sets, and then as soon as one of us would get tired or want to eat food or drink water or something like that, then we'd switch out. And that was a lot of fun. But it's very hard to find places to do that now, which is unfortunate because I really miss that.
Yeah, it like I was saying to another busker that also plays. I don't remember if it was the last, but in oh yeah, it was in Spanish. I remember it was Spanish. It's very different, like playing in venues or something like that, because in the streets is more freedom. You can do whatever you want to do, and you don't have to worry about like he's gonna bother. Fuck it. I will play
Hmm.
like I want, and the freedom is so awesome. I'm still busking, and I'm I'm doing it every single weekends. So it's so awesome. And I see over there all the didgeridoos. How many didgeridoos? And which one is your favorite? That fucking bamboo. Pinche Will,
Oh,
mi
mine.
bambú, perro. ¿Dónde está mi pinche bambú, perro? I was asking for a bamboo didgeridoo to Will, but never got one. Everyone has a fucking bamboo, not me.
This one right here is probably one of my favorite didgeridoos that I've ever played. If I can get you can see the yes.
Ah,
I this digit is called the Raining Fig.
raining pig. You have names for all your DJs.
Some of them are not my names. The names that just traveled with the digits. But most of them I
Okay.
call by something. Like this. When dig is from Will Thorin. Before Mob Didgeridoo actually,
Ah,
and
oh,
um,
it's a really old one.
yeah, and that one so that's his name for it is Raining Fig. So that one's kind of traveled with it. Some of the other digits I've got have names that I've given them over the years, and some of them it's the original name that the crafter gave it. I usually like if there's a name that's stuck with the dig from the crafter, that's usually what I just went with because I felt that was appropriate, right? Like the person that shaped that instrument and made it into a thing, you know.
Sí.
I like that a lot. And then some of them don't have names yet, There's some of them that I haven't gotten a chance to take out on the road and give my own name to because some of them were just like, oh, this is Didgeridoo number 647. Okay. Nice. I like to
How
have a
many how
story with
many
the
DJs?
names.
How many
How many?
DJs do you have?
Oh man, let's see. It's been a while since I've counted, and not
Chinga
all of
madral.
them are right here. Just right here, I have 10, but that's not all the ones that I own. There's some that I own that are with other people right now or at other places. A couple are, they're all getting played. I don't have any that are just sitting in storage. And then also in this black case behind me is my slide didgeridoo. By
The carbon fiber.
yes, that's my main one right now that I find myself playing with every project and all over the place.
What range that one, the carbon fiber, what range has that one?
Oh well,
You can play from this key to
it's pretty much got a full chromatic range,
ala.
in sort of band terms. Um,
Mhm.
it's then the advantage of that is that if I just want to play with a band, then I don't need to have a rack full of didgeridoos. Which there's times where I wish I could travel around and do the whole Xavier Rudd thing and have just like a whole rack of digits and just be like switching around. Will does this as well, and it's pretty impressive to see. But most of the places where I'm doing bigger shows, I have to travel a lot further for it, so it's kind of harder to bring a rack full of all of these beautiful instruments here. So I just have this, which is pretty awesome because then it slides into that, and this slides into that, and so put together, like it's only that long. But if I want to, I could make it a really long low G all the way out. And I don't have the locking collar on this one because most of the time when I'm playing this with Thundercrow with Brother, I'm doing a lot of like quick changes of the tuning.
Like it's from home. Yeah.
So I kind of use this as like a mouthpiece, a really long mouthpiece slide, and then kind of just adjust the tuning down on this one. But yeah, these are pretty sweet instruments. They're made right here in the Northwest, not in Washington, down in Oregon.
Okay.
And that's pretty much been my favorite travel instrument that I've come across. I know there's a lot of collapsible didgeridoos out there that are pretty sweet. There's a lot of them that collapse a lot smaller than that sound pretty dope actually, that I've seen people playing out at festivals. Like last time I went to Indigenous, I saw somebody that I didn't catch the crafter, but it was a carbon fiber didgeridoo, and it went out to like the length of this, a full size like concert dig, but collapsed. It was like this big. Not even joking.
Oh, see. The
right?
fiber.
It's like that's perfect. Like for when I do some backpacking where I'm not like necessarily going to play shows with like loop stations and microphones and all this stuff, and I can just take one didgeridoo and just make it that big. Perfect.
But, yeah, that will be the air dig, from Switzerland. Well, you know the White Cross flag is red.
Yeah, Switzerland. Oh yeah, that's right. That's the air dig. Okay.
I had one that in yes, it is so awesome, but it's not so much keys. It's just like B flat, C sharp, E flat, and that's it.
It's like bringing around one of these, but you can put it in your backpack.
Yeah, that's a good advantage, and it's not heavy. I think one like 5 or 10 tortillas are more heavy than that fucking dish, but it's so awesome. 3 tacos will be more heavier than that thing. And
that's like a really good unit of measurement.
Yes, one taco it's not so heavy, so and there is no plans to you to come to the south over here in San Diego or these places. I was wondering that in a medieval festival, it will be okay for a Mexican to dress like an Aztec or a Mayan, because in medieval story there was like over there the Vikings and the knights and over all the shit that happening in Europe. But here in Mexico, we are doing sacrifices and playing ball and shit. So in a medieval festival, it will be accurate to me to have the penachos and the taparrabo and all the feathers and like a emperador Aztec. Like,
dude, that would be freaking awesome, actually.
and like, plans to come over here in the south.
I would love to. I would absolutely love to. I don't have any gigs planned really. Like actually, the closest I'm going to be getting with shows this year is I'm playing in just outside of Albuquerque for a Scottish Highland Games in New Mexico. And I would love to come and spend some time with the Didge community, kind of in Southern California, Tijuana, and like see that side of I haven't really seen that part of the world anyway. I mean, where I'm from, probably I think about more than 2,000 miles from. No, maybe like 2,000 miles. I think. I would say is like an easy guess. From where I'm sitting right now to where you're at is probably about 2,000 miles, which is a kind of a crazy distance if you think about it. It's you know, and it's funny because it's like we're both West Coast, you know.
Sí.
But it's a big coast. I really love anytime I get to venture south at all. I'm planning to come and visit Will and Tanita at some point. Like, there's not really a hard plan about it, but um, just like both of our schedules need to kind of like align for it to work. You know, so we're both kind of back and forth talking about it. That, you know, as soon as it'll work out for us both, I'm gonna head down to where they're at and hang out for a little bit, and then no doubt if it works, we'd love to probably, you know, jump over the border and come see what's up in TJ.
Oh, huevo, sí, cómo no, los pinches tacos chingones, the good
Yes.
Mexican fucking tacos. You're gonna love my favorite taco over here. It's New York steak with shrimps.
Oh,
So
dude,
fucking good.
dude, right there is money.
Oh, good. That's a good idea for money. Yes. Oh, you have to make is just a half an inch. No, yes, half an inch steak, New York, in chunks with carnita asada, but a half inch steak, and then a big chunk shrimps, like cut in half, like butterflies.
Yep.
The salad, pico de gallo, onion, tomatoes, and cilantro,
That right
guacamole.
there, I could eat that all day long. Absolutely all day long, man.
No, 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 that's my favorite taco because I love shrimps. I love New York steak. My favorite taco. You have n- you have to come at least to Spring Valley. In Spring Valley, they are doing some festival. They are starting to make festival. Maybe that could be a good start in in the south. The Spring Valley with Mike Mikey Reed. He is starting something over there in. I'm trying to work so I can jump the border again, but legally. Legally.
But yeah, Spring
Because
Valley. Is that California?
yes, it's like 30 minutes from Joshua Tree, like 30 minutes from Mike Gomez Micah's place. It's around there. It's like 40 minutes from, I think, from William Thorne's LA. Spring Valley is over there in the
Okay.
desert. Never been in desert weathers? You never been in
I've
desert
been to
weather?
some deserts. I haven't been to like the proper like, you know, like the south, like we call it, like, you know, the desert Southwest, you know, like Arizona, New Mexico,
Okay.
like sort of south, like the Mojave Desert or things like that. I haven't really gotten to see that, but up here we do have some legit desert. Actually, weirdly enough, up here in the Northwest, like on the like where I'm
Oh,
at,
you
Seattle is very green and wet and lots of big trees and it rains all the time. And then if you go right over the mountains, it's a totally different thing. It's very dry, hot, like over 100 degrees all day in the summertime, things like that.
no,
Rattlesnakes and scorpions and things. It's really weird, but it's not like a full
I
on, you know, sand dunes and cactus and things like that, you know, for hundreds of miles because, you know, you can't really, you go a little bit and then you hit a bunch of farmland and then you hit more mountains eventually when you get to Idaho. Um, but I've seen some kind of desert-ish sort of stuff, but I've never seen like the crazy desert of like Mexico or the Southwest USA.
yeah,
Not yet.
you're gonna enjoy the if you come Joshua Tree or this Spring Valley, the the coolest in summer, the coolest temperatures can be like 115 Celsius, Fahrenheit. I think in Celsius, I convert always in my head. The Celsius, it's like 45 to almost 50 Celsius can be like
Yep.
110, 115 Fahrenheit. So it's good uh, hot weather. It's so a lot of vitamin D.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's not something that I'm really used to here because here the highest temperatures like this time of year is like maybe 40, 50 degrees Fahrenheit.
Ay,
Just
no
like like
mames.
10 to 20
Yes,
something
yes,
Celsius.
very cool. Is right now I'm freezing. I have my to weather to get like a fan, but with a hot air,
Oh yeah,
and I'm under the I think I'm at 14 grados, 14 degrees Celsius is like 45, 7,
yeah.
almost 50 Fahrenheit, and I'm freezing.
Oh, it
I'm
gets
at
that cold.
that. Yes, yesterday we reached a record because at 2 a.m. it was like for some seconds 0 degrees, and
Wow.
then normal it was like 3 degrees, and 5 a.m. 5 degrees, 7 a.m. it was 8, and right now we are like 12, 15 kind of, and I'm freezing. I'm freezing. I'm very my normal temperature 25 to 32 Celsius. It's like 70 to 85 Fahrenheit. That's my natural my that I'm okay. But no, no, no. Right now it's very, 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 very cold for me.
Is
And
it
if you,
seasonally like
huh?
that, or is it like is it every year this time of year it gets like that cold? I just didn't think that I never pictured Tijuana being someplace that would get that cold.
Yes, sometime we got one. Uh, it was I don't remember if 2018 or 2017. It was snowing, but in the east side of Tijuana because Tijuana is sea level. But if you go more to the east, it will start to getting higher. So in the east part of Tijuana, it's like 500 meters from sea level,
Oh,
and it
okay.
was like with a little bit of snow, and people was like whoa. So it gets a little bit cold, not so much, but it gets cold. It's very extreme weathers. It gets very cold and it gets very hot. So it's crazy, crazy, crazy. And if you can come to Spring Valley, there is just I think 1 hour to Tijuana. So you can we have a saying that matas dos pájaros de un tiro. You can kill matas un pájaro matas a dos pájaros de un tiro. It's like you kill it's just a saying. You can kill two birds from one stone.
Yeah, we have the same exact saying. I was
Yeah,
wondering
you,
what
you
it was going to be.
you can come to Tijuana and we can make some uh, another Tjridoo. Do you have the shirt right now? We
Yes,
can do a
represent.
Didgeridoo 2024, I guess.
That would be amazing, man. It would for me. It would be two birds with one stone. It would be getting out and playing more music again in new places and getting to finally like meet you guys that are down there. Like I think the only didgeridoo player from Mexico that I've ever met was Omar.
Yeah.
That's the
Oh,
one.
you didn't go. You didn't
Yeah.
go this last indigenous, right?
Oh no, I did. Sorry though. There was Ingrid as well.
Ingrid.
I
Yes,
forgot.
yes, yes,
Yeah.
yes.
Yes, I forgot.
Who?
How could I forget? She's amazing.
Yeah.
Amazing, man.
Yeah.
She has this overtone singing that sound like she sounds like she's from Mongolia when she does it. It's
Cabrón.
wild.
And I have never met her in person, Ingrid.
Really?
Yes, I have from 2019 that I don't go to Mexico City. The time that I had the accident in my hands, that I don't step on Mexico City. But in the future, I'm gonna go back.
Yeah, I
One,
understand that, dude. That was messed up. I remember seeing that. I was
yeah,
just like, wow.
oh
Sad.
crazy. I was with my friend in the hospital, and it was like my friend is Lalo Castillo, and I was like, Lalo, Lalo, mira, Terminator, because over here it was like 2 inch without skin, and there is white things that move the fingers. Like you remember
Wow.
the skin of
Yeah.
Terminator when he's fixing his hand, the the that thing moving. Le decía, Lalo, mira, Terminator, güey. Y Lalo was, pinche macho. This is, I don't know if another people in around the world makes jokes about his own misery, but we Mexicans do that a lot. It's
Yeah,
it's a
I,
way
people need to.
take take things better. Like I was like all like when you want to make wieners, you cut the wieners in four and throw it to the oil, that was my fingers like that. You know, you see like this, all open like wieners, and when you throw it to the oil, it
Yeah.
was like that in Terminator hand and shit. It was so crazy, so crazy. One last words that you want to say to the people, to the Latin American community.
Oh, hang on. I just lost your. I just lost your video.
Ah, okay, I'm still here. I'm still here.
Oh, okay, good. I was just like, whoa, what? Well, I mean, I guess I want to. I love what y'all are doing, and I want to come down and really see it. You know, I got a cool chance to see it online during those during the COVID times where we had the online didgeridoo gatherings. I
Sí,
got
sí,
to see
sí.
I got to see like a lot of these like crazy good Brazilians that are out there doing didgeridoo that I'd never even thought about knowing about because I didn't know that it was a thing. You know, I'd like it's the same when it's kind of the same when I found out that there's a didgeridoo community anywhere. You know, but yeah, I guess I just want to come down and like see what's up. You know, and
Yeah.
I feel like we all have even if there's a language barrier, like we speak a universal language. You know, with this
Mhm.
music in general, but especially didgeridoo, man. I think it's I've seen it unite people that are from totally completely different areas. You know, even if
Mhm.
they only can understand each other speaking their actual language a little bit, but like you can go and like we all kind of enjoy the same things and nature and music and good food and company. You know, it's a beautiful thing, and I want to see it everywhere it exists. So yeah, yeah. If you hear of any festivals, um, that are looking for anyone international, I'd love to come along.
A huevo, a huevo. And there is a lot of community. Colombia, Argentina, Chile, Peru, Brazil. In South America, there is a bunch of players. Costa Rica, in Costa Rica, pura vida. Over there, there is a lot of players also.
Really?
In Mexico, Mexico, yes, and there are like three crafters right now in Costa Rica. So beautiful. In Mexico, there we are a lot of players with a lot of makers over here in Mexico, and we will love to have all you here in Latin America. Any country that you choose, there will be didgeridoo players over here. And thank you very much, Zachary, for your time. And bye. Didgeridoo, the Didgeridoo podcast. Rato
Tweet.
perros.